Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Naving Gaming. And as you can see, today we are playing Mass Effect Legendary Edition. Alright, so last time we left off, we were in Cora's Den, if I remember correctly, after just getting done talking to Harkin to figure out where Garrus was. So we're gonna just jump right back into that. We were also ambushed by Saren's assassins as we were entering inside of Cora's Den, and after the pleasant conversation with Harkin, well, we were just about to go and find Garrus, as I already said. So anyways, yeah, enough of that. Moving on. Let's jump right into it. I also tweaked the volume this time, so that way the voice comes in a little quieter, and so does the game volume. Hopefully it's not too low, but it's low enough. I'm trying to get it at a decent volume range, at least according to my own PC volume. I haven't tried listening to any of my videos on my phone, and I'm terrified of the prospect. Take a drink for a second. Alright. And one of these days, I'm going to get a better sound system so I can better suppress it. I've actually decided to stop trying to suppress it because it just doesn't work. It's not working. Sound suppression doesn't work. It doesn't. It really doesn't. Everyone can still hear everything, and it's just annoying. The best part about the Legendary Edition is that it just jumps right back into it. The moment you hit resume from the title screen of selecting which installment of the game you want to play in, and then selecting start on its main menu, you just jump right back into it. Alright. Alright, so the greatest scumbag the galaxy's ever known, Commander Shephard, ready to fucking go and shoot some more, well, ready to take on more of Saren's enemies. Well, more of like Saren's assassins trying to kill us. Ay, ay, ay. Alright, moving on. And oh man, look at that view. It's a pretty good view, all things considered. This is what it's like to be on the Citadel. Pretty neat, right? This game's pretty neat. The game looks a lot better, especially compared to like its original incarnation. The OG original Mass Effect.
I didn't tell anyone, I swear!
That was smart, Doc. Now if Garrus comes around, you stay smart. Keep your mouth shut or...
Uh-oh.
Who are you? Let her go.
Ah!
Ay, ay, ay. Well, that was easy. Alright.
Perfect timing, Shepherd. Gave me a clear shot at that bastard.
You took him down clean.
Sometimes you get lucky. Dr. Michelle, are you hurt?
No, I'm okay, thanks to you, all of you.
Why were they threatening you? Who do they work for?
They work for Feast. They wanted to shut me up, keep me from telling Garrus about the Quarian.
What quarry?
A few days ago, a Quarian came by my office. She'd been shot, but she wouldn't tell me who did it. I could tell she was scared, probably on the run. She asked me about the Shadow Broker, She wanted to trade information in exchange for a safe place to hide.
Where is she now?
I put her in contact with Fist. He's an agent for the Shadow Broker.
Not anymore. Now he works for Saren. And the Shadow Broker isn't too happy about it.
Fist betrayed the Shadow Broker? That's stupid even for him. Saren must have made him quite the offer.
That Quarian must have something Saren wants. Something worth crossing the Shadow Broker to get.
What else can you tell me about the Quarian?
I'm not sure. Like I said, she wanted to trade information for a place to hide. She didn't... Wait a minute. Geth. Her information had something to do with the Geth.
She must be able to link Saren to the Geth. There is no way the Council can ignore this.
Time we paid Fist a visit.
This is your show, Shepherd. But I want to bring Saren down as much as you do. I'm coming with you.
I don't need a Turian shooting me in the back when I least expect it.
All Turians are not the same. I'm not like Saren. I couldn't find the proof I needed in my investigation, but I knew what was really going on. Saren is a traitor to the Council and a disgrace to my people.
You can come along, but I'll be watching you.
You know, we aren't the only ones going after Fist. The Shadow Broker hired a Krogan bounty hunter named Rex to take him out.
Yeah, we saw him in the bar.
We can handle this on our own. Let's go.
Alright, now that we got Garrus in our group, let's go ahead and make our way back. I'm surprised no one is fucking surprised to see people armed and ready to shoot. Just running on by. That's kind of the funnier aspects about the Citadel. These weird Citadel moments. Just literally fucking... Loading is always weird sometimes. Anyways, just fucking running through a crowded area full of people, and no one panics to see like a guy in armor with arms to the teeth with fucking guns, just ready to fire, looking like he's about ready to fucking kill someone. No one, not a single person. Anyways.
Looks like it shut down.
Boy, oh boy. Yeah, one of the big problems is that these guns are mostly inaccurate until you get better ones. And you also increase your stats.
Stop right there. Don't come any closer.
Warehouse workers. All the real guards must be dead.
Stay back or we'll shoot.
I just killed 50 bodyguards to get in here. What do you think I'll do to you?
Screw Fist. He doesn't pay us enough for this.
I would have never thought of that.
Shooting people isn't always the answer.
Shepherd had a point. Even when Shepherd's an asshole, he has a point. Alrighty, equipment. It's still inaccurate as shit, but I'll take it. I like weapon force better. Alright. Oh, hang on. Why is my sniper rifle out?
I'm blocked.
Why do I have to do everything myself? Time to die on the soldiers.
How's this fucker wear the best armor in the game and he shoots this badly and he's also this easy to kill?
Enemy is everywhere!
Wait! Don't kill me, I surrender!
Tell me where the Quarian is, and I won't have to shoot you in the kneecaps.
She's not here, I don't know where she is, that's the truth.
He's lying.
Put a round in his leg, see if he talks.
Wait, I don't know where the Quarian is, but I know where you can find her. The Quarian isn't here, said she'd only deal with the Shadow Broker himself. Impossible. The Shadow Broker only works through his agents. Nobody meets the Shadow Broker, ever. Even I don't know his true identity. But she didn't know that. I told her I'd set a meeting up. But when she shows up, it'll be Saren's men waiting for her.
Tell me where that meeting is before I blow your lying head off.
Here on the wards, the back alley by the markets. She's supposed to meet them right now. You can make it if you hurry.
Too many people died here, Fist. You don't get to walk away.
That Quarian's dead if we don't go now.
There we go. Like the quietest hurry music I've ever heard.
Perimeter secure.
Did you bring it?
Where's the Shadow Broker? Where's Fist?
They'll be here. Where's the evidence?
No way. The deal's off.
There's everybody's favorite alien, and also this bullshit.
Lost shields.
Huh. Throw this SOB.
Just set me up. I knew I couldn't trust him.
You've got proof Saren is working with the Geth. Hand it over.
Not so fast. Who are you?
I don't have time for questions. I need the evidence you have against Saren.
I guess I owe you. But not out here in the open. We need to go somewhere safe.
The ambassador's office. It's safe there. He'll want to see this anyway.
The epic victory music.
You're not making my life easy, Shepherd. Firefights in the wards, an all-out assault on Korra's den. Do you know how many... Who's this? A Quarian? What are you up to, Shepherd?
This Quarian can help us bring down Saren. I would have told you that if you hadn't jumped down my throat.
I apologize, Commander. This whole thing with Saren has me a bit on edge. Maybe we should just start at the beginning, Miss...
My name is Tali. Tali Zora Naraya.
We don't see many Quarians here. Why did you leave the flotilla?
I was on my pilgrimage. My rite of passage into adulthood.
Ah, yes, the pilgrimage. By far, the Quarians have the most fascinating lore. Like, Turians are cool, but they're very one-note. Their coolness factor is completely belied by the fact that they're not... So, I think it's mainly because, I guess you could argue that Garrus isn't so, in tune with Turian culture as Quarians are with theirs. At least Tali is. Which is why her entire character is built around her very you know, species background, culturally, and also rather, you know, physically. It's like, Garrus is a great character, but definitely Tali has a lot more lore established around her character. Like, Garrus gets his epic moments, but it's just mainly Garrus. It's just Garrus himself. A lot of the things that you learn about Turians is something you can learn in the Codex or something else. Or through different, like, stuff in, like, the future games. And while those moments are cool and all, the Turians just don't get a whole lot of fleshing out. But surprisingly, though, Tali's entire race and hers is fleshed out not only by her own story arc, but it also puts you right smack dab in all of their culturally significant issues and problems, and you know, and their tensions with the Geth. There's a lot of interesting dialogue and background to jump into, but for the most part, Tali is probably one of the more interesting female characters in the entire Mass Effect series, as well as just better establishing her race and introducing the concept of her race and the culture that surrounds them. She's a pretty good, I guess you could say, like, a very interesting analytical sort of like dive into that sort of aspect of her people and culture, and it just makes her interesting. But other than that, yeah. And while the Krogan certainly get their time in the sun, and while they're certainly got about as much exposure as the Quarians do, you know, like, but the Krogans are cool for one simple aspect, and that's they're straightforward, always to the point, and they're violent as fuck. Like, they're cool just because they don't give a shit, and they don't fuck around. That's the only thing that makes them cool, and no shit's given attitude, along with their like I'm just going to solve everything with guns and putting bullets in it, is can at times be endearing, and at sometimes it could be sort of, I guess you could say, trying, but it never gets so trying to the point to where it's just like constant firefights with people that you don't need to be in firefights with, which they could have certainly have done that. But no. Instead, they were very restrictive with their approach to the Krogans, and they only approached firefights with Krogans and all the Krogan issues about as reasonably as much as possible. And a lot of the times, you know, when you're fighting like Krogan clans and all that other such, it's usually for pretty decent reasons. But yeah, generally speaking, a lot of the races in this game get a lot of time get a lot of their time in the sun and get really fleshed out as the story goes on. But I still find it kind of funny that the Turians don't get as much time in the sunlight to really get developed, at least their culture and their technology and all the things that make them what they are. But the Asari are also on a similar also have a similar problem. While they have, like, while we have been to Asari controlled planets in later games, and which is kind of, I guess, a spoiler, but it doesn't matter. While we do get to go to some Asari controlled areas and get to see what Asari culture is like in some aspects throughout the game's story, we don't really get to delve into a whole lot of Asari culture. And most of the time, it's just, when Asari culture does become a plot point, it's usually as that. It's a plot point. It's not something you can investigate or, you know, like take your time to bask in the sunlight of. It's not something that you can go out and smell the roses with before you get to the meat and potatoes of a mission. It's literally just like, go to this place, do the thing, and then fuck right the hell off. So, yeah. Anyways, enough of that. Moving on.
I've never heard of this before.
It is a tradition among my people. When we reach maturity, we leave the ships of our parents and our people behind. Alone, we search the stars, only returning to the flotilla once we have discovered something of value. In this way, we prove ourselves worthy of adulthood.
What kinds of things do you look for?
It could be resources like food or fuel, or some type of useful technology, or even knowledge that will make life easier on the flotilla. Through our pilgrimage, we prove that we will contribute to the community, rather than being a burden on our limited resources.
Where's the proof you promised?
During my travels, I began hearing reports of Geth. Since they drove my people into exile, the Geth have never ventured beyond the Veil. I was curious. I tracked a patrol of Geth to an uncharted world. I waited for one to become separated from its unit. Then I disabled it and removed its memory core.
I thought the Geth fried their memory cores when they died. Some kind of defense mechanism.
Now that we got all that out of the way, I feel like I should also mention this other thing. Out of all the characters, who has by far the most, I don't know about the most stands, but I, for some reason, hear that, in particular when it comes to tally stands, they're by far the most toxic. And I don't know if that's actually true. I just think that's funny. Because, well, we're going to experience that as we go on, but it's just like, I can see why people would defend this ship of this character, you know, to the point of literally beating a drum or a dead horse. But it's like, I can't imagine people going out of their way to be directly toxic as a result of their infatuation with this character. I mean, I like this character a lot. I think the kind of relationships, the kind of romantic relationships you could build with all these party members and characters are quite fascinating, but I find hers to be particularly the most likable to me. But that's just me. I'm not nearly as terrible about it though as apparently some people are. I just thought that was funny to hear. Just like, okay, what's going on in the conversation of the Mass Effect series? Oh, well, apparently tally stands are just the worst. Oh. Okay. That's interesting. Why is that? I don't know. I never investigated, but that sounds funny to me. I'm a bit of a tally stand myself. I would rather date Tally than any other of these characters, except I guess if I had to choose another character, it'd probably be what's her name? Oh, I remember. Oh, but you know what? I probably should keep that for later. We'll just save that for later. But yeah, there is another character, but it's just like it's just one exception. And yes, that character does get introduced in this very same game. So, yeah. In fact, we're probably going to be going to get her very quickly here, so.
How did you manage to preserve the memory core?
My people created the Geth. If you're quick, careful, and lucky, small caches of data can sometimes be saved. Most of the core was wiped clean, but I salvaged something from its audio banks.
Eden Prime was a major victory. The beacon has brought us one step closer to finding the conduit.
That's Saren's voice. This proves he was involved in the attack.
He said Eden Prime brought him one step closer to finding the conduit. Any idea what that means?
The conduit must have something to do with the beacon. Maybe it's some kind of Prothean technology. Like a weapon.
Wait, there's more. Saren wasn't working alone.
Eden Prime was a major victory. The beacon has brought us one step closer to finding the conduit.
And one step closer to the return of the Reapers.
I don't recognize that other voice, the one talking about Reapers.
Are they some kind of new alien species?
According to the memory core, the Reapers were a hyper-advanced machine race that existed 50,000 years ago. The Reapers hunted the Protheans to total extinction, and then they vanished. At least, that's what the Geth believe.
Sounds a little far-fetched.
The vision on Eden Prime. I understand it now. I saw the Protheans being wiped out by the Reapers.
The Geth revere the Reapers as gods, the pinnacle of non-organic life. And they believe Saren knows how to bring the Reapers back.
The Council is just going to love this.
They won't believe you anyway. Just keep them out of this.
We have to tell them. Even if they don't believe anything else, this proves Saren is a traitor.
The Captain's right. We need to present this to the Council right away.
What about her, the Quarian?
My name is Tali. You saw me in the alley, Commander. You know what I can do. Let me come with you.
I thought you were on your pilgrimage.
The pilgrimage proves we are willing to give of ourselves for the greater good. What does it say
The
about
greater
me if
good.
I turn my back on this?
The greater good. Shut it!
Saren is a danger to the entire galaxy. My pilgrimage can wait.
I think this is more than you can handle.
She's already survived a run-in with the Geth, Shepherd, and we need all the help we can get. Take her with you. Anderson and I will go ahead to get things ready with the Council. Take a few minutes to collect yourself, then meet us in the tower.
Always happy to have new characters join the party. That's not what I wanted. Coolio. Any armor I can wear? Of course not. Well, let's go ahead and get Garrus and Tally equipped. Oh, hello. Some random Quarian armor that I didn't know I had. Useful, all things considered. Alright, I finally leveled up. Normally I would also try to level up my characters too, but this game does a pretty decent job at leveling these characters, and I think I mentioned this before, but I don't care. I don't care to level up these characters myself, because I hate staring at menus longer than is necessary. All right. At least in later installments, they minimize the amount of customization or armor needed to just you.
Commander Shephard, my name is Samesh Patia. Forgive the intrusion, but I have nowhere else to turn.
A lot of people want my help these days. What makes you special?
My wife was a Marine. She was in the 212 on Eden Prime. I've requested that my wife's body be returned to me for cremation, but the military has refused my request.
Why did they refuse your request? There's got to be some reason.
I don't know. All I know is that they have declared it impossible for my wife to be returned to me.
I'm concerned with the living, not the dead. I don't have time for this.
I understand. You have many important things to do. If you do have time, however, Mr. Bosker is the man in charge of my case. He's in the expensive bar over there. Thank you for your time. I just want to give my wife a proper funeral, and the respect she deserves.
Alright, let's go solve this before we do anything else. Why not? So this is just right here. Get something out of it anyways, I'm sure. There he is.
My goodness, you're Commander Shephard. Your activities made for quite a briefing in the diplomatic corps. Is there something I can do to assist you?
You can cut the red tape for a grieving husband. I want you to release the body of Nirali Bhatia.
Commander, nothing would make me happier. I'm afraid, though, that it's not quite that simple. Serviceman Nirali Bhatia died on Eden Prime, as Mr. Bhatia no doubt told you. Her wounds are inconsistent with any type of weapon damage we've seen before. That is why her body is being held.
I don't care how badly the Geth mangled the body. It's the husband's right to claim her.
We are not holding Nirali Bhatia's body out of discretion. We are, frankly, holding the body for research. The tests we're conducting may lead to better defenses against Geth attacks. Respectfully, Serviceman Bhatia may save more lives in death than she did in life.
How long do you think the research is going to take?
This is a long-term study. I wouldn't expect the bodies to be released for a year or longer.
You've got to have a lot of bodies. Can't you release one?
Very few bodies had this new type of weapon damage, and very few were in good enough condition to study. Beyond that, Commander, we need as many bodies as we can to get a reasonable sample size.
When will this research result in actual new technology?
If we're lucky, we'll actually realize usable technology from this study in a few years.
You know who and what I am. If I want Nirali Bhatia, I can get her.
Commander, I don't think threats are necessary. Even if the body were here on the Citadel, would you really risk going in shooting to get it?
You said you'd been briefed on me. How far do you think I'm willing to go on this?
All right, Commander. You win. It was hard enough refusing Mr. Bhatia. I'm not going to risk an incident by refusing you. Tell Samesh that the body is being shipped back to Earth. I'll go now to see to it myself.
Man, oh man, aggressive Shepherd is by far the most interesting Shepherd. At least he's certainly not boring, I'll give him that.
Hello again, Commander. Has there been any word?
Your wife is coming home, Mr. Bhatia.
Thank you. I will return home and begin my preparations. It does not bring me happiness, but it may bring me peace. Goodbye, Commander.
I could have done the ultimate scumbag thing, I suppose, but I ended up not doing it. Next time I'm committing to an ultimate scumbag, though. I've been a bit flexible with it so far. I'm not going to be too flexible with it. I want to see just how far I can make this character a piece of shit. We are definitely killing party members if that's what the situation calls for.
How can I convince my superior that I deserve a promotion? I am not unreasonable. The Hanar is free to spew its nonsense once it purchases an evangelical permit.
If you can't
I
solve
didn't
this,
ask for your help.
Do you desire to learn of the Enkindlers? Or has the Honorable CSEC officer enlisted assistance?
the CSEC officer is just doing his job. You're causing trouble.
This one only wishes to spread the truth to any who will listen.
I'll be back.
This one will continue to spread its message.
Oh yeah, we were gonna go to the council, right? This very jaunty sprint.
There's no way the council can ignore us this time. Zaren's days as a Spectre are done.
If the evidence is worth trying to kill me for, I hope it is sufficient to motivate the council.
I think we'd all hope for that. All right.
Come on. Udine is presenting the Quarian's evidence to the council.
Yep, let's get this
Eden
over
Prime
with.
was a major victory. The beacon has brought us one step closer to finding the conduit.
And one step closer to the return of the Reapers.
You wanted proof? There it is.
This evidence is irrefutable, Ambassador. Saren will be stripped of his Spectre status, and all efforts will be made to bring him in to answer for his crimes.
I recognize the other voice, the one speaking with Saren. Matriarch Benezia.
Who's she?
Matriarchs are powerful Asari who have entered the final stage of their lives. Revered for their wisdom and experience, they serve as guides and mentors to my people. Matriarch Benezia is a powerful biotic, and she had many followers. She will make a formidable ally for Saren.
I'm more interested in the Reapers. What do you know about them?
Only what was extracted from the Geth's memory core. The Reapers were an ancient race of machines that wiped out the Protheans. Then they vanished.
The Geth believe the Reapers are gods, and Saren is the prophet for their return.
We think the conduit is the key to bringing them back. Saren's searching for it. That's why he attacked Eden Prime.
Do we even know what this conduit is?
Saren thinks it can bring back the Reapers. That's bad enough.
Listen to what you're saying. Saren wants to bring back the machines that wiped out all life in the galaxy? Impossible. It has to be. Where did the Reapers go? Why did they vanish? How come we found no trace of their existence? If they were real, we'd have found something.
I tried to warn you about Saren, and you refused to face the truth. Don't make the same mistake again.
This is different. You proved Saren betrayed the Council. We all agree he's using the Geth to search for the conduit, but we don't really know why.
The Reapers are obviously just a myth, Commander. A convenient lie to cover Saren's true purpose. A legend he is using to bend the Geth to his will.
50,000 years ago, the Reapers wiped out all galactic civilization. If Saren finds the conduit, it will happen again.
Saren is a rogue agent on the run for his life. He no longer has the rights or resources of a Spectre. The Council has stripped him of his position.
That is not good enough. You know he's hiding somewhere in the Traverse. Send your fleet in!
A fleet cannot track down one man.
A Citadel fleet could secure the entire region. Keep the Geth from attacking any more of our colonies.
Or it could trigger a war with the Terminus systems. We won't be dragged into a galactic confrontation over a few dozen human colonies.
Ouch. You just said our lives were expendable, you ass. Fuck you. You literally just said that human lives were expendable in no few short of words. It's just damn. But yeah, you see how the sort of human prejudice is in this game. It's definitely true. Human beings are not the dominant species of the galaxy, and they're certainly not the most accepted, but they are certainly by far the most versatile and the most eager to prove themselves. And it's very interesting. It's a very interesting contrast compared to the shit that we normally see in games, where it's either we're the saviors of all living things, or the heroes for many, or we're literally trying to overcome some great obstacle that stands between us and saving the world, salvation, all kinds of things. We go from basically being like chosen ones, saviors, and heroes, to now being heroes of our own kind, while, you know, basically trying to prove ourselves to a bunch of other races that look down on us and think less of us as a result of our willingness to want to exceed expectations. It's interesting. I mean, it's certainly an interesting story. It's not something that we haven't seen done before, but it's unique because it puts human beings on a lower pedestal, on a platform of lower importance. And that's not just like a particular race of people or culture or nationality. That's literally the entire human race. So yeah, it's a very unique take to really take a story. But I think that where this game kind of falters, certainly, is in the absolute and complete and utter refusal by the big cheeses at the head of all of these governmental bodies, these political spectrums, and these economic leaders of industry. All these people who are in positions of power either overestimate or underestimate the power of the individual and the races behind them. And it's always fascinating. It's both annoying but fascinating. And sometimes it's equal parts understandable, but also a little ridiculous. Like, come on. At some point, you're gonna have to believe something that I say. Something. And if you think that this is just gonna be one game just trying to prove ourselves to, like, the Council in particular, think again. Think again. We get an interesting choice at the end of the game that basically dictates where the Council's gonna be in the future games. And let me tell you something. It's even if you choose like one or the other, good or the evil decision in that choice, the Council is still going to think very skeptically of you. And that's kind of the biggest problem with these, with the Mass Effect trilogy. Well, with any game that puts choice at front and center as like the sales pitch, the selling point of the experience, is that it's mainly there to give you the illusion of choice. This game is one great example of this. It's got so many diverging paths, but it all culminates to one thorough trek through a singular experience, but your approaches to how you handle these story progressions and situations is what's different. Those are the only differing things. And some missions and side quests do allow for diverging routes, but that's it. That's the difference, is that it's routes. It's not like you're changing the entire outcome of a story. You're not doing one thing that has severe ramifications of how one other thing is approached. It's literally, you do this thing, you go on to the next mission, you do this thing, make a choice, go on to the next mission. It's the same thing over and over again. The illusion of choice is not terrible, but it does lend itself to a very one-note experience. The Mass Effect series is still playable despite this, but I would say that its replayability is severely handicapped as a result of the fact that there isn't too many diverging pathways from certain decisions that you make in the game. And that's kind of disappointing to me. But yeah. That's just my 2 cents on all of this. But anyways, yeah. So xenophobia, main problem of this series. And I honestly think that this game portrays xenophobia in a very soft way than a hard way. And a lot of people think that the softness of the xenophobia is in itself kind of a hard thing to do, but it's really not. You know what would be hard for me when it comes to xenophobia or issues involving race relations? It's literally enslaving them or thinking so less of them that you treat them like they're not even second class, but like they're literal garbage. That to me is hard racism. You want to talk about like soft racism? This is the shit right here. I mean, yes, you're basically accepted into the galactic community, yes. And you may not be highly regarded. You may have to push and continue to push to get your place and to prove yourself constantly, but at least you do have a place. At least you do have a say to some degree. It's not like they're literally trying to cock-block you from actually trying to progress in their society. They're just like, hold on, hold your horses, don't get so eager, don't get too excited. Alright, you still have yet to show us that you're capable of handling all of this other shit first. And that you're capable of being able to do these particular things and steps that are necessary to promoting galactic peace and harmony. And it's just like, that's understandable. But again, given the circumstances of where this story is going and how it's going to inevitably end up, they're trying to make this as slow as possible, but it can't be slow. It literally cannot. It has to be steamrolled. It has to be fast-tracked, because if you don't, then everything is fucked. So, yes, that's just my 2 cents on that. And I'm going to get into more interesting bits about this later down the line, I'm sure. But we'll cross those bridges when we come to them. But other than that, yeah. That's just my 2 cents on that. Let's move on.
Every time humanity asks for help, you ignore us.
Shepard's right. I'm sick of this council and its anti-human bull...
Ambassador, there is another solution. A way to stop Saren that does not require fleets or armies.
No, it's too soon. Humanity is not ready for the responsibilities that come with joining the Spectres.
It was a Turian Spectre who betrayed this council, and it was a human who exposed it. I've earned this.
Commander Shephard, step forward. It is the decision of the Council that you be granted all the powers and privileges of the Special Tactics and Reconnaissance branch of the Citadel.
Spectres are not trained, but chosen. Individuals forged in the fire of service and battle. Those whose actions elevate them above the rank and file.
Spectres are an ideal, a symbol, the embodiment of courage, determination, and self-reliance. They are the right hand of the Council, instruments of our will.
Spectres bear a great burden. They are protectors of galactic peace, both our first and last line of defense. The safety of the galaxy is theirs to uphold.
You are the first human Spectre, Commander. This is a great accomplishment for you and your entire species.
I've been ready for this since Eden Prime.
We're sending you into the Traverse after Saren. He's a fugitive from justice, so you are authorized to use any means necessary to apprehend or eliminate him.
Any idea where to find him?
We will forward any relevant files to Ambassador Udina.
This meeting of the Council is adjourned.
Congratulations, Commander.
We've got a lot of work to do, Shepherd. You're going to need a ship, a crew, supplies.
You'll get access to special equipment and training now. You should go down to the CSEC Academy and speak to the Spectre Requisitions Officer.
Anderson, come with me. I'll need your help to set all this up.
Trophy earned.
I thought the ambassador would be a little more grateful. He didn't even thank you.
What do you expect from a politician? Come on.
Right behind you, Shepherd.
New stats. New branch in my status has been unlocked. Boy. He's a politician. What did you expect? Shepherd, why do you have to be so right? Loading, loading, loading. Come on. There we go. All right.
One sec. Looking you up. Commander Shephard, here with the Alliance military. First time on the Citadel, that about right?
Who wants to know?
Just checking for CSEC records. I can only sell goods to authorized personnel. So, will you be purchasing anything today, Commander Shephard?
Show me what you've got.
Sounds good. Just let me set you up. Oh, this must be a mistake. System's telling me to offer you our select stock. Spectre? Well, I heard about that, but I didn't realize it was you. Sorry, Commander.
Just show me what you've got.
I'll open the rare stocks for you, Commander. Enjoy.
Boy, oh boy. There it is. The best equipment in the game. The HMWP. Except you will never touch this shit because you will never have the credits to buy it. At least not immediately. Sell all junk? I don't think I marked anything as junk, though. I should start marking shit as junk. Let's see. Let's sell it. 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 At least sell all the basic equipment.
Hello, Commander.
Show me what you've got.
I'll open the rare stocks for you, Commander.
Hey, when I accidentally click out of the thing, I cannot buy this or this. I can't even equip some of it. Omni tools. Oh, hello. Licenses, grenade upgrade. I don't need that yet. Alrighty, moving on. embassies. Ay, ay, ay. Nothing here. But we were supposed to meet up here. I guess not. Maybe I can finally leave now, too. Which will be great. Before I do that, there's still a couple of things I need to take care of. Let's see, which game should I tackle after this one and Fire Emblem Engage? That is the question. Alright. I'll be thinking about it for a while. But I'm likely going to try and tackle a survival horror after this. This place was a fucking massacre at one point, but yeah, everything's fine and dandy now.
Commander! What do you want?
I'm here on Shaira's behalf. Your lies are hurting her.
Good! The lies have been killing me for days. I've seen a lot of horrible things in my days, and there's only one woman in this damn galaxy that helps me forget it.
This is pathetic. What could a woman do to put you in this state?
'Cause she rejected me! Me! Septimus Oraka, General of the Turian Fleet!
Jesus. Okay.
Some general. What kind of example are you to your troops?
The troops can kiss my leathery backside. All I wanted was to retire and be with her. Look, kid, I appreciate what you're trying to do, but don't waste your time.
Never let the enemy see your weakness. You know that, General.
Enemies? The one place I always felt at peace was with her. But now, so you think it's that easy? Just straighten up and act like a general?
It damn well couldn't hurt.
Huh. Maybe you're right, Commander. Shaira's worth the effort. Even if she won't have me back.
Now get up and get moving, General.
All right. I'll go to her. After I've had a cold shower or two. Say, you're a bright kid. Would you be interested in earning a few extra credits?
What do you want me to do?
There's an Elcor diplomat out there who believes Shaira gave up his secrets.
Why would he think such a thing?
Because I told him. Look, I just need you to convince him of the truth.
Why can't you tell him yourself?
Well, the last time he saw me, I was disparaging his ancestors and shouting his secrets in public. Take this data pad. It shows where I got my info. It will exonerate Shaira and convince the Elcor.
Keep your data pad. I don't have time for this.
Come on, it'll only take you a minute.
Sorry, General.
That's all right. I'll deal with it after I've spoken with Shaira. Well, here's to soldiers acting like soldiers. Thanks, Commander. You know, you might make a good general yourself one day.
Boy, oh boy. Okay. That conversation, you'll probably realize this as we go on, but some conversations are just kind of like, they start with an issue, and then they end in a resolution in such a baffling way. And sometimes you don't even understand how to make heads or tails of it. Just like, how the hell did we reach this point? Like, what? Like, I understand the issue, but how did this result in this? Presidium wards. Presidium, we're gonna go to the wards, maybe? Yeah. And we'll come back here to go back to Moreland's famous shop for all the good supplies and bullshit. Pretty sure his shop is pretty notorious in this game by now.
You, human. You the one they call Shepherd?
Who wants to know?
The name's Rex. The Shadow Broker paid me a lot of money to get rid of Fist. Only you got there first.
It's not my fault you were slow on the draw.
When I get paid to do a job, I finish it. Alone.
I don't like where this is going.
But I didn't finish this job, Shepherd. You did. So the payment is yours.
Bounty hunters don't just go around paying off people who take their contracts.
I won't take credit for someone else's work. I transferred the payment into your account. I like the way you handled Fist. Now I hear you're going after Saren. I was thinking I should come along.
You're a bounty hunter. What do you get out of going after Saren?
I'm not in this for the money. I want to be where the action is. There's a storm coming, and you and Saren are right in the middle of it.
Why me? Saren's already got a lot of Krogan working for him.
Those aren't Krogan. They're servants. They grovel at Saren's feet to lick his boots, trading their freedom for promises of wealth and power. My people were a proud species once. Some of us still remember that. I won't bow down to Saren like the others.
The Krogan's more trouble than I need.
I don't cause problems, I solve them. You go after Saren, you'll be glad I'm around.
We'll take you with us, Rex.
Smart move, Shepherd.
Here it is, the Dream Team.
In other news, Exogeny Corp is still denying reports that one of their survey teams has gone missing in the Hades Gamma Cluster. When asked why communication with the survey team was suddenly cut off last week, company officials refused to comment.
I've got big news for you, Shepherd. Captain Anderson is stepping down as commanding officer of the Normandy. The ship is yours now.
She's quick and quiet, and you know the crew. Perfect ship for a Spectre. Treat her well, Commander.
This isn't right. The Normandy belongs to you.
You needed your own ship. A Spectre can't answer to anyone but the Council. And it's time for me to step down.
What kind of leads do we have?
Saren's gone. Don't even try to find him. But we know what he's after. The Conduit. He's got us Geth scouring the Traverse looking for clues.
We had reports of Geth in the Pharaoh system shortly before our colony there dropped out of contact, and there have been sightings around Noveria.
Find out what Saren was after on Pharaohs and Noveria. Maybe you can figure out where the Conduit is before he does.
The Reapers are the real threat.
I'm with the Council on this one, Shepherd. I'm not sure they even exist.
But if they do exist, the Conduit's the key to bringing them back. Stop Saren from getting the Conduit, and we stop the Reapers from returning.
I'll stop it.
We have one more lead. Matriarch Benezia, the other voice in that recording. She has a daughter, a scientist who specializes in the Protheans. We don't know if she's involved, but it might be a good idea to try and find her. See what she knows. Her name's Liara, Dr. Liara Tassoni. We have reports she was exploring an archaeological dig on one of the uncharted worlds in the Artemis Tau cluster.
Maybe I can get to Noveria before the Geth.
It's your decision, Commander. You're a Spectre now. You don't answer to us.
Your actions still reflect on humanity as a whole. You make a mess and I get stuck cleaning it up.
I'll take care of Saren. You take care of the political fallout.
Not exactly the answer I was looking for, Shepherd. Remember, you were a human long before you were a Spectre. I have a meeting to get to. Captain Anderson can answer any questions you might have.
Yes, Commander?
What do you know about the Artemis Tau cluster?
Not much. I've never been there myself. A handful of systems with a few small, uncharted worlds, but no real colonies. Might not be easy finding Dr. Tassoni out there. My advice is to look for the world with the Prothean ruins.
Any extra intel you can give me on our colony at Pharos?
The entire planet used to be one giant Prothean city. Mostly ruins now. But some of the infrastructure is still intact. The colony tried to build on what the Protheans left behind. We lost all contact with them when the Geth attacked.
What can you tell me about Novaria?
Novaria's trouble. Always has been. The whole planet's basically a center for corporations to conduct illegal research. Watch your back there, Shephard. Spectres are about the only form of Citadel authority Novaria respects. But they aren't popular.
I should go.
I'll be here if you need anything.
Stand by, shore party. Decontamination in progress.
I heard what happened to Captain Anderson.
Loading screen.
Survives 100 battles and then gets taken down by backroom politics. Just watch your back, Commander. Things go bad on this mission, you're next on their chopping block.
Saren's out there somewhere, and we're gonna find him.
Everyone on this ship's behind you, Commander. 100%. Intercom's open. If you got anything you want to say to the crew, now's the time.
Listen up, Normandy.
This is your commander speaking. We have our orders. Find Saren before he finds the conduit. And I refuse to let anything get in the way of that mission.
The Council wants to ignore this.
That's no surprise. They've never helped us in the past. No reason they'd start now. But we don't need their help. We can do this on our own.
Wherever Saren goes, we'll follow.
Wherever he searches for the conduit, we'll be there. We will hunt him to the very ends of the galaxy and bring him down.
None of the other species has the guts, grit, or balls to deal with this.
So it's up to us. We're the only ones who can stop Saren. I swear to you all, we will stop him.
Well said, Commander. Captain will be proud.
The captain's not here. I'm in charge now, Joker, and time's wasting. Get this bird in the air.
Yes, sir.
Boy, oh boy. Alright. Alright. There is one thing to do before we get moving. Alright, that's still open.
Anything you need, Commander?
What's your opinion on the last mission?
I don't see how we could have done things any better. At least not without getting to Eden Prime sooner. And we were on the scene faster than any other Alliance ship could have been.
Just trying to get a sense of where the crew's at. Thoughts?
I've wasted enough of your time for now, Commander. We'll have time for personal debriefings later.
We'll talk another time, Lieutenant.
Commander?
Okay. Next up.
Hey, Commander. Looking for some extra supplies before you head out?
What have you got?
Whatever you want. Armor, weapons, mods. It's not standard Alliance issue, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. Well, as long as you don't mind paying for it.
Why should I pay you for my weapons and armor?
My stuff doesn't come from the Alliance. I have to purchase it myself, and it's not cheap. Hell, the licenses alone have set me back more than I'd like. But no licenses, no goods. Without the goods, I'm out of a job.
Let's see what you've got.
You bet, Commander.
Yeah, I already got licenses, and also, holy shit. Anyways. I do not have money for anything, I can tell you that.
Thanks for bringing me on board, Commander. I knew working with the Spectre would be better than life at CSEC.
Have you worked with a Spectre before?
Well, no, but I know what they're like. Spectres make their own rules. You're free to handle things your way. At CSEC, you're buried by rules. The damn bureaucrats are always on your back.
Being a Spectre does have its advantages.
Exactly my point. If I'm trying to take down a suspect, it shouldn't matter how I do it, as long as I do it. But CSEC wants it done their way. Protocol and procedure come first. That's why I left.
So you just quit because you didn't like the way they do things?
There's more to it than that. It didn't start out bad, but as I rose in ranks, I got saddled with more and more red tape. CSEC's handling of Saren was typical. I just couldn't take it anymore. I hate leaving.
You did the right thing. Life's too short to sit around waiting for things to happen.
Yeah, you're probably right. Either way, I plan to make the most of this. And without CSEC headquarters looking over my shoulder, well, maybe I can get the job done my way for a change.
As long as you do your job well, you're free to go about your business as you see fit.
Thank you, Commander.
That introduces an interesting moral dilemma, doesn't it? We see how important it is nowadays, or at least how much people bitch and whine about it nowadays, about how the police have too much sway and have too much liberties given to how they do things. And the CSEC officers are basically the same thing. They're just police officers. And Garrus over here is like, hey, I just want to get the situation handled, alright? I shouldn't need to have to jump through hoops just to get this fucking shit done and over with. But it's funny because it's it's true. You know, there's certainly a point to be made about how some situations should be handled. Like, it shouldn't really matter if the suspect in particular is going to be violent, choose to be violent, and is going to resist arrest and potentially put other people's lives in jeopardy. As long as you handle the situation and it gets handled, it shouldn't matter. But you still have people who are going to mourn even that person's loss, and they're still going to get angry, and some people are still going to try to controvert it into something else. They're always going to contrive it into something that's really not what it's supposed to be. And so you always get this bullshit articles and stories about how, oh, this is just another exercise in stupid police brutality. And while it's true that the police do have moments, and there are certainly cases where it feels like they definitely overextend themselves a bit, I don't think that is true for the majority of law enforcement. I think some of the things that are certainly problematic, like the racial profilings and all the other things, are certainly a problem, but I don't think how they handle certain cases is necessarily a problem. I think that if someone is going to commit a crime willingly and is going to put other people's lives in jeopardy, the police should be authorized to do whatever the hell they damn well need to in order to prevent the risk and also the death of other lives as much as humanly possible. But, you know, we live in clown world these days, so you don't really get to that kind of conversation, and you certainly don't see people looking to have that conversation either. It's always, well, it's because police are bad. They're terrible. They're good. They're really good at sucking at their job. And it's just like, come on, people. let's be a little more nuanced about it. Nothing is ever that clear, cut, and simple. Anyways.
Commander?
Oh, boy.
What's your opinion on the last mission?
Kinda wish you'd got there sooner, Commander. No offense, I appreciate the rescue. I just wish...
They died, you lived. That happens in this job.
Yes, Commander. Believe me, I understand that. If I had been more alert, we wouldn't have been cut down by an ambush.
The answer seems plain enough to me. Be more alert.
Aye, aye, Commander. I'll make sure it doesn't happen again.
Do you have a few minutes to talk one-on-one?
I'm sorry, Commander. I need to get my duties squared away. I wouldn't mind talking more later, though.
Dismissed, Chief.
Sir.
Oh boy. Well, we won't get into it in this episode, thank God. Especially after just touching upon another controversial topic. This game truly is a product of its time, because it did not have to deal with any of these particularly politically stringent conversations that are pretty much trying today than it was when this game was released. My God. Anywho's, moving on. I suppose there's one other person to talk to, and that's going to be our pilot, and man oh man. He's being voiced by Seth, so that's going to be interesting.
Commander, something you need?
How's the Normandy performing? Is she everything they said she'd be?
She's the best ship in the fleet, if you've got a pilot who knows how to handle her. Balance isn't what you'd expect. Takes a while to get used to that oversized drive core we got stuffed in the back, and her power can sneak up on you if you're not careful. The Normandy's probably too much ship for your average Alliance pilot, Commander. Lucky for you, I'm anything but average.
I like to know my crew. Mind if I ask you a few questions?
I can see where this is going. You did a background check on me, didn't you? Well, I'll tell you the same thing I told the captain. You want me as your pilot. I'm not good. I'm not even great. I am the best damn helmsman in the Alliance fleet. Top of my class in flight school, I earned that. All those commendations in my file, I earned every single one. Those weren't given to me as charity for my disease.
I can't have you on this ship if you're going to infect my crew.
Infect the crew? Oh man, you have no idea what I'm talking about, do you? Okay, I've got Vrolich syndrome, brittle bone disease. The bones in my legs never develop properly. They're basically hollow, too much force and they'll shatter. Even with crutches and my leg braces, it's hard to get around. One wrong step and crack! It's very dramatic. But I've learned to manage my condition, Commander. Put the Normandy in my hands and I'll make her dance for you. Just don't ask me to get up and dance unless, you know, you like the sound of snapping shin bones.
I need to know more about this Vrolich syndrome if I'm putting my ship in your hands.
Yeah, of course you do. It's an extremely rare condition. Nobody knows exactly what causes it. Genetic, maybe. It's treatable, but there's no cure. They classify my case as moderate to severe. I was born with over a dozen fractures, hip, thighs, ankles. My bones were already breaking in the womb. 100 years ago, I wouldn't have survived past my first year. Lucky for me, modern medical science has turned me into a productive member of society.
You're not gonna break a bone trying to fly the ship, are you?
I don't fly with my feet, Commander, so I'm fine as long as I'm in this chair. I gotta be real careful when I get up to take a piss, though. I can do my job as well as anyone on the ship. Better, actually. So don't worry about it.
I'm not trying to make you uncomfortable. Let's talk about something else.
Whatever you want, Commander.
Why does everyone call you Joker?
It's a lot shorter than saying Alliance Flight Lieutenant Jeff Moreau. Plus, I love to make little children laugh.
Trying to hold it. Trying to hold in the laughter.
You're dodging the question.
Look, I didn't pick the name. One of the instructors in flight school used to bug me about never smiling. She started calling me Joker, and it stuck.
Why didn't you ever smile?
Hey, I worked my ass off in flight school, Commander. The world's not gonna hand you anything if you go around grinning like an idiot. By the end of the year, I was the best pilot in the academy. Even better than the instructors, and everybody knew it. They'd all got their asses kicked by the sickly kid with the creaky little legs. One guess who was smiling at graduation?
Dear God. God, I love this character so much.
How's the Normandy performing? Is she everything they said she'd be?
She's the best ship in the fleet, if you've got a pilot who knows how to handle her. Balance isn't what you'd expect. Takes a while to get used to that oversized drive core we got stuffed in the back, and her power can sneak up on you if you're not careful. The Normandy's probably too much ship for your average Alliance pilot, Commander. Lucky for you, I'm anything but average.
Didn't we just hear this?
I like to know my crew. Mind if I ask you a few questions?
I can see where this is. You want top of my class in flight school? I earned that. Put the Normandy in my hands and I'll make her dance for you. Just don't ask me to get up and dance unless, you know,
How'd you end up joining the Alliance?
Look, if you're looking for an inspirational tale of the crippled kid overcoming impossible odds, you're gonna be disappointed. My mother was a civilian contractor working for the Alliance. I basically grew up on the Arcturus station back when they were building up the fleets. Spend all that time around Alliance ships, there's a good chance you'll end up going to the Academy.
I have to go.
Alright, see you.
Joker's so good. It's scary how great his character is. And he only gets better with each subsequent title. Man. Alright, we can finally get the hell out of here. Alright, let's go pick up this Liara first. Gotta go find her first, too. The room. Yes, the old way we survey. I'm not gonna read all of the
Commander,
planets.
I'm picking up a signal from the planet's surface. It looks like an automated distress beacon.
Interesting. Alright. Yeah, like I was gonna say, I'm not gonna read the description of every planet. I'm just gonna pick a planet, see which ones I can land on, and then land on them. I don't want to spend too much time in menus, as I mentioned. If you want a lore enthusiast to play the game, there's a guy named Oxhorn who's played this game already. I think he's well enough and a way through it, as is, if he hasn't already beat the series in its entirety. And I think there's also Maple Collapse. I don't remember. I can never pronounce his name. I can't even imagine what his name sounds like when you try to say it. But anyways, there's definitely people who are bigger lore enthusiasts than I who have played these games. So go look at those channels. Medal of Exploration. I mean, it's a pain in the ass just getting through these areas. Alright, so the distress signal is that way. Ah, yes. The planet exploration sections with the Mako. There's our first thresher mine. OG game, this was never a mechanic. They definitely spiced up the way you fight pressure mobs in this game. So hard to aim in this thing. No. There we go.
Alliance soldiers. Looks like they were lured here by the distress beacon.
Ay, ay, ay. Alright. The most time-consuming stuff in this game is definitely the exploration of these planets. You found Captain Milan's identification tag. How it ended up here is impossible to know for sure. Start on the corners and make my way down.
Heading out?
Electronic skill too low. Yeah, I should probably bring, I forget, I need to bring some actual specialists to these planets for salvage. Especially since I cannot cover as a specialist since I'm a soldier class. No biotic specialist, no tech specialist. Just gotta bring a party member that has those skills. In great abundance. Alright. Got meteor problems or something? Maybe it's just the sound of a storm. Just kind of stormy, I guess. And if you think that this is just one version of what a planet could look like, nope, this is how all planets are going to look like. This game, sadly, does not do planet exploration justice. They certainly give you expansive terrains to traverse, but they don't give you different varieties of different climates to explore. You get either deserts, grasslands, or snow. Rarely do you ever get anything else. Certainly any damn trees. Saying you want trees on these planets? That's asking too much.
Heading to position.
Sweep. More minerals and well, you can't even mine them, they're surveyed. You get paid for it. That's about the most. Oh boy. Here's where we really get to test the Mako's metal. People do not joke when they say that this thing drives very, very much like ass. This thing is able to scale up a bunch of walls, though, that's for certain. Mountain terrains, straight up cliff sides. It's almost ridiculous, but it's very useful. Because otherwise, this would be a very annoying thing to have to do constantly. Exploration would be the most annoying aspect of this game. I think we about reached what we've already seen. Could possibly see on this planet. Yep, alright. just drive straight down the middle. See what kind of stuff we can find, if anything. Looks like a whole lot of nothing. Yep. Alright. Loading, loading, loading. Alright. Okay. Alright, so we learned that there is absolutely nothing here. And we found it. Alright. This time we can bring the dream team without needing to think about resources. Time to rescue Tisona.
Commander, I'm picking up some strange readings. Really strange, like off the damn charts. It looks like it's coming from an underground complex a few clicks away from the drop zone. Got some mojo out of that.
Sequoia compound.
Only a fool punches a knapsack in the mouth. He should sneak around and pull its tail.
Yeah, but I just want to shoot everything. Oh. Yee. Yep, was not kidding when I said that people know that this thing drives like ass. This thing's notorious for it. Let's see what we have here. This new sniper rifle. So other places to check, at least for loot. Oh, I just realized I think I had my TV volume on. Hopefully that didn't come in too much on my microphone. If one thing doesn't go awry, something... It just wouldn't be a video if nothing goes awry, I guess. Hopefully one day the only thing I have to worry about is just making videos. And also just doing my job. As well as just having a place to make those videos. More of these videos. Time to move on. movement and jostling around distorts the aiming. There we go. Knock that over. Nope. Just abusing game mechanics. Oh boy, this is a long trek just to get to a place. Sometimes you think you're hitting them dead on, and sometimes you're not. Oh, there we are. Oh boy, let's see how well we fare here.
Form up.
Oh, Garrus is down. Well, lovely. You'll be back up soon. Grunt, what are you doing?
To me.
Nothing here. How about armor? What do we got in armor? Yay, something different. Let's see, health regeneration, hardening, 45 plus shields. Why not? Oh, I leveled up too, great. There it is. Oh boy. If you're not prepared for this part is a bitch. Oh, well. Okay. There are just Geth stalkers everywhere. Alright. Go. Garrus, why aren't you shooting? I've been wondering this for a while. Alright, fine. Garrus, you go over there. one shot from this colossus is enough to kill you if you're not careful. Sweet. All right, that's all of them. Now we just go in.
All targets down.
Man, oh man.
Aside from the Citadel,
Oh, I leveled up again. Since his health isn't regenerating, might as well. Oh boy. This is our stop. The jankiness of that falling animation.
Hello? Could somebody help me? Please? Can you hear me out there? I'm trapped. I need help.
Quit shouting. This place is crawling with Geth.
Sorry, I am a little Look, my name is Dr. Liara Tassoni. I am an archaeologist. Listen, this thing I'm in is a Prothean security device. I cannot move, so I need you to get me out of it, all right?
And here is the second best waifu of the game right here.
Your mother is working with Saren. Whose side are you on?
What? I am not on anybody's side. I may be Benezia's daughter, but I'm nothing like her. I have not spoken to her in years. Please, just get me out of here.
How'd you end up in there?
I was exploring the ruins when the Geth showed up, so I hid in here. Can you believe that? Geth beyond the veil! I activated the tower's defenses. I knew the barrier curtains would keep them out. When I turned it on, I must have hit something I wasn't supposed to. I was trapped in here. You must get me out, please!
You shouldn't have been messing with technology you don't understand.
I wasn't going to let the Geth capture me. Besides, I know how it works. Mostly. There is a control in here that should deactivate this thing. You'll have to find some way past the barrier curtain. That's the tricky part. The defenses cannot be shut off from the outside. I don't know how you'll get in here. Be careful. There is a Krogan with the Geth. They have been trying different ways to get past the barrier.
Oh boy, that sounds great. Oh no, not a jammer. Ah, it's just a shotgun. Man, it's bullet sponges, aren't we?
Area secured.
Alrighty, I think we found everything that needed to be found. Yep. Let's do something about that containment unit. No way forward. Hmm? Interesting as puzzles go. Alright. I'm trying to remember what that was like originally. I can't remember. Oh boy.
How did you get in here? I didn't think there was any way past the barrier.
We blasted through with the mining laser.
Of course. Yes, that makes sense. Please, get me out of here before more Geth arrive. That button over there should shut down this containment field.
Any idea how we get out of this place?
There is an elevator back in the center of the tower. At least I think it's an elevator. It should take us out of here. Come on! I still cannot believe all this. Why would the Geth come after me? Do you think Benezia's involved?
Saren's looking for the conduit. You're a Prothean expert. Obviously, he wants you to help him find it.
The conduit, but I don't know.
What the hell was that?
These ruins are not stable. That mining laser must have triggered a seismic event. We have to hurry. The whole place is caving in.
Joker, get the Normandy airborne and lock in on my signal. On the double, mister.
Aye, aye, Commander. Secure and away. ETA 8 minutes.
If I die in here, I'll kill him.
Oh, let's just all stand here looking at each other weirdly. Do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do.
Surrender. Or don't. That would be more fun.
We don't have time to deal with this idiot. Charge!
I like your attitude.
Well, didn't you know? I'm part Krogan. Not really. That'd be funny, though. We are going to get surrounded if we are not careful.
Rally round.
Clear to target.
He does that Krogan thing that he does. Rushes. There's a gun for every situation.
Move, move, move!
Well, we almost died.
Too close, Commander. 10 more seconds we would have been swimming in molten sulfur. The Normandy isn't equipped to land in exploding volcanoes. They tend to fry our sensors and melt our hull. Just for future reference.
We almost died out there, and your pilot is making jokes?
Sometimes Joker's a real ass. Just try to ignore him.
I see. It must be a human thing. I don't have a lot of experience dealing with your species, Commander. But I am grateful to you. You saved my life back there.
and not just from the volcano. Those Geth would have killed me or dragged me off to Saren.
What did Saren want with you? Do you know something about the conduit?
Only that it was somehow connected to the Prothean extinction. That is my real area of expertise. I have spent the past 50 years trying to figure out what happened to them.
Oh boy, 50 years. Man, oh man, I feel like I haven't talked in a while. To some people, that could be a good thing or a bad thing.
How old are you exactly?
I hate to admit it, but I am only 106.
Damn! I hope I look that good when I'm your age.
A century may seem like a long time to a short-lived species like yours, but among the Asari, I am barely considered more than a child. That is why my research has not received the attention it deserves. Because of my youth, other Asari scholars tend to dismiss my theories on what happened to the Protheans.
I've got my own theory on why the Protheans disappeared.
With all due respect, Commander, I have heard every theory out there. The problem is finding evidence to support them. The Protheans left remarkably little behind. It is almost as if someone did not want the mystery solved. It is like someone came along after the Protheans were gone and cleansed the galaxy of clues. But here is the incredible part. According to my findings, the Protheans were not the first galactic civilization to mysteriously vanish. This cycle began long before them.
And you know this how?
Where'd you come up with this theory? I thought there wasn't any evidence.
I have been working on this for 50 years. I have tracked down every scrap and shred of evidence. Eventually, subtle patterns start to emerge, patterns that hint at the truth. It is difficult to explain to someone else. I cannot point to one specific thing to prove my case. It is more a feeling derived from a half-century of dedicated research. But I know I'm right, and eventually I will be able to prove it. There were other civilizations before the Protheans. This cycle has repeated itself many times over.
I see, I see. Didn't you just get done saying that everything that you've heard, that all the theories you've heard are mainly based off of conjecture, and what you just told me is literally just a hunch? Your assertion is nothing more than a hunch. Seems like a kind of just like defeated your own argument there a little bit, but whatever.
Get to the point.
The galaxy is built on a cycle of extinction. Each time a great civilization rises up, it is suddenly and violently cast down. Only ruins survive. The Protheans rose up from a single world until their empire spanned the entire galaxy. Yet even they climbed to the top on the remains of those who came before. Their greatest achievements, the mass relays and the Citadel, are based on the technology of those who came before them. And then, like all the other forgotten civilizations throughout galactic history, the Protheans disappeared. I have dedicated my life to figuring out why.
You're not much of an expert, Doctor. The answer's been standing in front of you the whole time. The Protheans were wiped out by a race of machines. The Reapers.
The Reapers? But I have never heard of. How do you know this? What evidence do you have?
There was a damaged Prothean beacon on Eden Prime. It burned a vision into my brain. I'm still trying to sort out what it all means.
Visions. Yes, that makes sense. The beacons were designed to transmit information directly into the mind of the user. Finding one that still works is extremely rare. No wonder the Geth attacked Eden Prime. The chance to acquire a working beacon, even a badly damaged one, is worth almost any risk. But the beacons were only programmed to interact with Prothean physiology. Whatever information you received would have been confused, unclear. I am amazed you were able to make sense of it at all. A lesser mind would have been utterly destroyed by the process. You must be remarkably strong-willed, Commander.
Okay, this isn't helping us find Saren or the conduit.
Of course, you are right. I am sorry, my
Is
scientific
that a
curiosity got the
is that
better
a cat
of me.
fight? I'm
Unfortunately,
getting
I
the
do
hints
not
of.
have any information that could help you find the conduit, or Saren.
I feel like Ashley just got a little annoyed there for literally no reason, other than just because she was kind of starting to flirt with the commander a bit, or at least complimenting him too hard. Anyways.
Looks like we wasted our time here.
Wait, Commander. Saren might try another attempt on my life. I'd feel safer if you let me stay on your ship. Besides, my knowledge of the Protheans might prove useful later.
And her biotics will come in handy when the fighting starts.
We've already got every other non-human species on board. Might as well add an Asari to the team.
Thank you, Commander. I am very grateful. Oh, I am afraid I am feeling a bit lightheaded.
When was the last time you ate or slept? Dr. Chakwa should take a look at you.
It is probably just mental exhaustion, coupled with the shock of discovering the Protheans' true fate. I need some time to process all this. Still, it could not hurt to be examined by a medical professional. It will give me the chance to think things over. Are we finished here, Commander?
Go see the doctor. The rest of you, dismissed.
Mission reports are filed, Commander. You want me to patch you through to the Council?
Patch him through, Joker.
Setting up the link now, Commander.
We've received your report, Commander. I understand Dr. Tassoni is on the Normandy.
I assume you're taking the necessary security precautions.
I love this. Alright. Let's butter them up first before we close the call on them.
Don't tell me how to do my job.
You are free to act as you see fit, Commander. Our role is to offer guidance and advice.
It's up to you if you're smart enough to listen.
I don't need this.
Communications cut, Commander.
God, that shit is so fucking good. Oh, loading. Always fucks you over. Jesus. Alright. Let's see if we can get some conversational dialogue out of these characters. Let's get to the most boring companion first. Caden, my man.
Anything you need, Commander?
Just trying to get a sense of where the crew's at. Thoughts?
Is this an official evaluation, Commander? Or off the record?
Like I've got time to write you up. You have something you want to say, feel free.
Fair enough. Truth is, there's something wrong with all of this. This Saren is looking for records on some kind of galactic extinction, but we can't get backup from the Council? Sorry, Commander. There's writing on the wall here, but someone isn't reading it.
We've got our orders. Belly aching won't change them.
I hear you. It just seems like a group that's been around as long as the Council should see this coming. Sorry if I got too informal. Protocol wasn't a big focus back in Bot.
I trust you won't have any questions when whatever's coming hits the fan.
None. I'm not questioning the mission. I'm just concerned. You won't have to worry about me, Commander.
Alrighty. Now let's get to our new member.
Yes, Commander? Is there something you need?
How did you end up serving on an Alliance ship?
I enlisted right out of... I want... But you... Goodbye,
I've been
Commander.
through this.
Commander, are you coming to check up on me?
No. No.
I just want to talk.
Of course. I never properly thanked you for saving me from the Geth, Commander. If you hadn't shown up,
I had to save you. You can help me stop Saren.
I know you took a chance bringing me aboard this ship. I have seen the way your crew looks at me. They do not trust me. But I am not like Benezia. I will do whatever I can to help you stop Saren. I promise.
Promises are easy to make, but hard to keep.
I do not begrudge you your suspicions. I just hope in time you will come to trust me.
We're really putting the screws on Liara here. Alright.
I'd like to know more about the Asari.
We were the first species to discover the Citadel. We were instrumental in forming the Council, and we always strive to be the voice of peaceful cooperation in galactic disputes. My people believe we are all part of a single galactic community. Each species contributes something to the greater whole. Although we seek to understand other species, it seems few of them seek to understand us. The galaxy is filled with rumors and misinformation about my people.
Like what?
Most of the inaccuracies are centered around our mating rituals. My species is monogendered. Male and female have no real meaning for us. We still require a partner to reproduce. This second parent, however, may be of any species and any gender.
Yep, the most flexible form of procreation I have ever heard.
I don't understand. Your species can mate with anyone?
Mating is not quite the proper term, not as you understand it. Physical
Oh,
contact
there was a
may or may
shittier
not
option
be
I could have
involved,
chose.
but it is not an essential element of the union. The true connection is mental. Our physiology allows us to meld with other beings. We can touch the very depths of their minds. We explore the genetic memory of their species. We share the most basic elements of their individual and racial identities. We then pass these traits on to our daughters. It is how we learn to grow as a species and how we develop a greater understanding of other races.
What happens to your partner after the union?
Every relationship is different. Some unions are a single encounter with both parents parting ways afterwards. Others can be more long-term. Sometimes an Asari and her partner will stay together for many decades.
You Asari live for 1,000 years. What happens when your partner dies?
Few sapient species live as long as my kind. We have learned to take a philosophical approach to our unions. We do not focus on the inevitable loss of our partners. Instead, we enjoy the time we spend with them. And even after they're gone, a part of them lives on in us. The union is a connection that transcends both time and space.
Which is a pretty interestingly sentimental way to look at it. Even if it is like a brief thing, it is, for some, depending on the species, it's not a half bad way to look at it.
Do you know who Matriarch Benezia chose as her partner?
She rarely spoke of her partner. Though I know my father, if you want to use that term, was another Asari.
Benezia never told you her partner's name?
Union with our own kind is no longer common, not for the purposes of reproduction. Most Asari believe it weakens our species. Asari daughters inherit racial traits from the father species. If both parents are Asari, then nothing has been gained, or so conventional wisdom would hold. I am what is sometimes called a pureblood. Though no Asari would ever be cruel enough to say the word to my face, it is a great insult among my people. It is possible Benezia's partner was embarrassed by their union. She may have been too ashamed to publicly acknowledge me as her offspring.
It's kind of fucked, but,
Why agree to the union if she didn't want any children?
I cannot answer that. This is all speculation on my part. It is possible she wanted to be part of my life, but something happened to her before she had the chance. Benezia never spoke of her partner. Whatever happened, it caused her too much pain to dwell on it. She raised me by herself, though that is not uncommon. Many Asari raise their children alone, particularly if the father species is short-lived. Often the partner will pass on long before the child reaches maturity.
Do you know why Benezia joined up with Saren?
I don't understand it. She was always outspoken about the need for the Asari to become more involved in shaping galactic events. Maybe she thought allying herself with Saren would somehow be for the greater good in the long run. At least I hope so.
We're learning so much about the other races of this game so far. Asari, Turians a little bit, kind of barely. Krogans are going to be something that we can look forward to. And we already learned a little bit about the Quarians.
Any chance she's in this for power or personal gain?
No, not the Benezia I knew. But I hadn't spoken with my mother in many years. She may have changed.
Tell me about yourself, Liara.
Me? I am afraid I am not very interesting, Commander. I spend most of my time on remote digs, unearthing mundane items buried in long-forgotten Prothean ruins.
You're right. That doesn't sound very interesting.
On occasion, I have run afoul of indigenous life forms or stumbled across small bands of privateers. That probably does not seem very exciting to someone like you. I guess seeking out history's lost secrets holds a special appeal for me. I would give A century of my life to discover a beacon like the one you found on Eden Prime. You were actually touched by working Prothean technology. That is why I find you so fascinating, Commander.
Sometimes it hurts to be the dick.
I'm not some artifact you can take back to your lab, Doctor.
I am sorry, Commander. I did not mean it like that. I am used to dealing with computers and data disks. I am not very good with people. I let my professional curiosity get the better of me. Please forgive me. Let us talk about something else.
Liara is a straight nerd, and Tally's just, well...
I should go.
She's just...
Goodbye, Shepherd.
She's just cutesy in the way that she flirts with other people. And sometimes it's a bit awkward for her to actually express herself in a romantic sense. That's kind of one of the reasons why she's so appealing as a character, personality-wise. Ay, ay, ay. And Liara is just, again, a nerd. Just a girl nerd who really likes her dig sites and her Prothean history and archaeology.
Commander, how are you?
Why did you want to be a CSEC officer in the first place?
That's a good question. There were several reasons, I guess.
Like what?
Probably the same as most officers. I wanted to fight injustice, wanted to help people. I guess my father had something to do with it, too. He was CSEC, one of the best. I grew up hearing about his accomplishments or seeing his picture on the vids after a big arrest. He's taking my resignation pretty hard.
He's not impressed that you're going after Saren?
My father's a CSEC man to the bone. Do things right or don't do them at all, he says. He thinks I'm being too rash, too impatient. He's worried I'll become just like Saren. He actually talked me out of becoming a Spectre when I was younger, for the same reasons.
You were asked to be a Spectre?
Well, I was targeted as a possible Spectre candidate. Me and about 1,000 other Turian military recruits. I could have received special training, but my father didn't like it.
He despises the Spectres. He hates the idea of someone having unlimited power with no accountability. He wouldn't like you, Commander. No offense.
Spoken like a true CSEC officer.
Yeah, it's a speech I've heard one too many times. But Saren's not going to play by our rules, CSEC's rules. If you want to nail Saren, you need to send someone who isn't restricted by policies and procedures.
You're a quick learner, Garrus. We'll beat him at his own game. It's the only way to stop someone like him.
I'm right behind you, Commander.
Boy, oh boy. It's actually kind of funny, because we can actually make Garrus into, we can actually get Garrus to actually mature in an interesting way. But we could also just get him to kind of follow a different path.
Commander, you have a minute to talk.
Though it does not change the direction of his character at all.
It's not normal for an enlisted to speak informally with the commander.
I figured since the crew was so small, you might be more permissive. I mean, that helmsman of yours. Most places, he'd be at Captain's Mast every day. I know things are different aboard the Normandy, but, I'm concerned about the aliens. Vicarian and Rex. With all due respect, Commander, should they have full access to the ship?
You don't trust their motives because they're not human.
This is the most advanced ship in the Alliance Navy. I don't think we should give them free rein to poke around the vital systems. Engines, sensors, weapons.
Alright, I guess I will be getting to this after all. Okay, just to make this perfectly clear. Ashley is a bit touchy when it comes to alien species, but that doesn't necessarily make her a literal racist. Yeah, the context of this conversation will certainly enlighten this a little bit, or future conversations with her certainly will, but there is a reason why she's like this, and while some people may see it as a as not really much of a good justification for her reasoning as to why she's a bit squeamish around other aliens. It's still not a terrible one. I mean, our first exposure to the galactic races was literally a war. We came across Turians, and then we literally went to war with them. So there's some Turian spite there, at least a tinge of it. On top of that, all the other species look down on us constantly. So it's not exactly unfair to want to be a bit suspicious about other races regardless. And thirdly, it's the main problem that I think most people seem to have with this is that a lot of people today are just, are grown and are taught and are raised to just accept people as they are. So having party members like this who are a bit wishy-washy with other species and are also constantly second-guessing them, even to the point to where they're starting to suggest potentially wanting to restrict certain accesses to certain things on the ship and otherwise. It is a problem, and it is borderline to become a problem, but it's not something that clearly escalates. Like, Ashley's just making a point. And it's not an unfounded point. It's kind of a fair one because you don't know what these aliens are like, typically, especially if you're not used to dealing with them. I think most human beings who grew up on Earth and whose only ever experience with other aliens is literally whatever wars you fight. It tends to have problems. It typically tends to have problems, and it tends to result in situations where your interactions with aliens is very uncertain. It goes the same way no matter what culture, nationality, or race that other humans get with other humans. It's literally no different. It's just in this game, alien races typically tend to be of a certain type of way, and that's mainly because of physiological and also psychological reasons. Alien species are likely going to be built different, and are going to likely think differently than most other races, other sentient life forms. So of course their values and standards are going to be a bit different, and so it's natural to want to be skeptical of them. Now, with all of that said, a lot of people don't like this character specifically for these particular racial biases, especially since Garrus in particular is a pretty chill dude, and is honestly not as strict or as stringent as on laws and regulations as most members of his species tend to be. He's still disciplined, but he's flexible with his morals, which makes him an interesting character. And Rex is just, well, he's a Krogan. If you know anything about Krogans, they're fucking meatheads that love to blow shit up. It's understandable, especially when Rex is concerned. Garrus, you need to actually kind of sit down and have a drink with him to actually get anywhere with him to know anything about him. But if you're not actively trying to understand them, of course you're only going to be left with your own biases. And so, with all of that said, I don't think that Ashley's character is terrible. At least not as terrible as some people make her character out to be. I think she gets out of line a little bit, but I don't necessarily see that as a problem. I've certainly seen comments and videos dedicated to boiling down the sort of disgruntlement that some people have with her character and her sort of like viewpoints, especially in this game in particular, about other species. But it's not something that can't be understood. It's just something that people just have a difficulty really reconciling because, well, it's kind of poignant because we're still suffering similar issues today. whether or not those issues are due to a fact of overzealousness and over embellishments on behalf of other people, or, you know, because there are definitely still some problems, actual problems. I mean, I mentioned a few of them earlier in this video, but otherwise, these are all the people's approach and understanding of Ashley's character and her reasons for why she is the way that she is. They're all understandable and valid, but they're also kind of a little bit just overblown, in my opinion. It makes sense to me why she's like this. I mean, her history, her character is written in a way to where it's supposed to make sense, at least on some level. Even if you don't necessarily have to, you know, necessarily agree with them, it still makes more, you know, it still makes perfect sense, at least if from a logical standpoint. I don't think how she gets from like one thought to the next is necessarily you know, great, but that's just because she's human, and it's, you know, people are flawed, and so they tend to make rash decisions when left to their own devices. And I don't think that's necessarily a flaw that is bad, because that's just a part of the human experience. So again, we're kind of going into a tangent here, and we're delving a little too deep into this rabbit hole. All in all, to summarize my point here, Ashley is not a terrible character, and is certainly not a terribly written character. She's just really strikes a nerve with some people. And that's mainly to do with a lot of factors. And they're not unreasonable factors, but I think that it's just a little too... I just think it's funny that people take it a little too seriously. I mean, again, context with everything we've seen so far in this game thus far, I think it makes sense. I think it makes more sense than the fact that the council doesn't trust us still, despite the fact that we keep proving ourselves time and time again. I think it makes more sense than any of the other shit we've seen so far involving other species and how they regard humanity. I think it's pretty reasonable, if we're going to be honest. It's just not that weird to me. And human history is full of bloodshed and stupid bullshit simply because of slight differences in either aesthetics or, you know, pigmentation or appearance-wise in some fashion. Or even culture. And people are only your enemy, can only be your enemy in relative terms. There's no such thing as an absolute enemy, or at least an absolute evil that could contend to be something that needs to be defeated. Or at least something to rebel against. And I think if we had that, it probably would light a fire in humanity a little bit more to be better, but no. There isn't one. There isn't an enemy like that, and the only enemy we have is literally ourselves half the time, if not most of the time. Actually, yeah, it is most of the time. 100% of the time, really. Anyways, all in all, I'm done. We're moving on. I gave my 2 cents. Take it or leave it. But I've made my case, and I rest my peace. But now we're going to snap.
That's enough, Chief. You always second-guess your superiors?
Sir! No, sir. I'm sorry, I was out of line. I'll get back to my duties, Commander.
Indeed. Get back to your duties. You're not paid to think there, Ashley. You're paid to do. Yes. Let's get to Rex.
Shepherd, what can I do for you?
What's your story, Rex?
There's no story. Go ask the Quarian if you want stories.
You Krogan lived for centuries. Don't tell me you haven't had a few interesting adventures.
Well, there was this one time the Turians almost wiped out our entire race. That was fun.
They tried the same with us, but we fought them off.
It's not the same.
It seems similar enough to me.
So your people were infected with a genetic mutation? An infection that makes only a few in 1,000 children survive birth? And I suppose it's destroying your entire species?
This answer is terrible.
You're still here. It can't be all that bad.
I don't expect you to understand, but don't compare humanity's fate with the Krogan.
I was just making conversation. I wasn't trying to upset you.
Your ignorance doesn't upset me, Shepherd. As for the Krogan, I gave up on them long ago. The genophage infected us, but it's not what's killing us.
Are your people really dying?
We're sure not getting any stronger. We're too spread out. None of us are interested in staying in our own system.
Lots of species have left their homes and prospered.
But they go to colonize new worlds. We're not settlers. We're warriors. We want to fight. So we leave. Hire ourselves out. And most of us never go back.
What can you tell me about the genophage?
Ask the Solarians if you want details. They made it. All I know, it makes breeding nearly impossible. Thousands die in stillbirth, and most never get that far. Every Krogan is infected, every one. And no one's rushing to find a cure.
Why don't the Krogan try to find a cure?
When was the last time you saw a Krogan scientist?
True.
You ask a Krogan, would he rather find a cure for the genophage or fight for credits? He'll choose fighting every time. It's just who we are, Shepherd. I can't change that. Nobody can.
It's such a unique perspective to have, especially when you consider future installments. This conversation is something to keep of note. Rex goes through quite a character arc.
So long, Rex.
Shepherd.
And he's not even going to be the only Krogan teammate we're ever going to get either.
Hey, Commander, you know that Quarian, Tally? She's been spending all her time down here asking me about our engines.
I'll tell her to leave you alone.
What? No, she's amazing. I wish my guys were half as smart as she is. Give her a month on board and she'll know more about our engines than I do. She's got a real knack for technology, that one. I can see why you wanted her to come along.
Ambassador Udina made me take her along.
Normally I don't have anything nice to say about politicians, but he made a good call on this. However, I'm guessing that's not why you came down here.
Nope.
I want to know more about the Normandy.
She's the best ship I've ever served on. Probably the fastest vessel ever designed. She's the only one using the new Tantalus drive core.
What's so special about the Tantalus drive core?
Proportionally, it's about twice the size of any other vessel. Not only are we faster, we can run at FTL speeds longer before we have to discharge the core.
Carry on, Adams.
Aye, aye, Commander.
All right.
Your ship's amazing, Shepherd. I've never seen a drive core like this before. I can't believe you were able to fit it into a ship this small. I'm starting to understand why you humans have been so successful. I had no idea Alliance vessels were so advanced.
I don't like the idea of aliens studying the architecture of Alliance ships.
We're on the same side here. My people have more reason to hate the Geth than anyone, remember? But you can't blame me for being a little excited. I never dreamed I'd get a chance to travel on a ship as advanced as the Normandy.
I didn't bring you along to admire my ship.
I know why I'm here. I'll do whatever I can to help you stop Saren and drive his Geth armies back beyond the Veil.
Tell me about your people.
Our lives aren't easy. Resources are scarce, and we are constantly on the move. Everything we do must in some way contribute to the continuation of the migrant fleet. There are 17 million Quarians in the flotilla, and each of us relies on the others for survival. The bonds among my people are strong. Unfortunately, we have had to surrender many of the freedoms and civil liberties other species take for granted.
What kind of freedoms?
Well, it's illegal for parents to have more than one child. If our population grows too much, it would strain our resources to their breaking point. Of course, we also can't allow our numbers to become too few. If our population is in decline, the rule against single births is temporarily repealed. In extreme cases of population decline, incentives are even offered to encourage multiple births, though the Conclave hasn't had to take such measures in nearly a century.
This is starting to sound eerily like the situation going on in certain Eastern countries. I'm not even gonna touch this with a 10-foot pole, but it's just funny.
That's your government.
The Conclave is our civilian branch of government. Each ship can elect a representative to serve on the Conclave and make decisions that affect the fleet as a whole. On matters that affect an individual ship, however, the captain has the final say. It's a tradition that dates back to the early days, when the fleet was governed by martial law. Fortunately, most captains nowadays are smart enough to have an elected council from their crew to give them advice and guidance.
So the ultimate power rests with elected officials.
In practice, the Conclave and the respective council for each ship tend to set the rules that govern our daily lives. But in theory, we are still under military jurisdiction. The 5 top-ranking military officials in the fleet serve on the Admiralty Board. These 5 have the power to overrule any decision by the Conclave in case of emergency. To do so requires unanimous agreement among the Admiralty, and they can only do this once. After that, the entire board must resign their posts. It's a safeguard that served us well. In nearly 3 centuries, the Admiralty Board has only overruled the Conclave 4 times.
You know a lot about your people. Most people would just snooze through history class.
I want to know more about the Geth.
I doubt I can tell you anything you don't already know. It's been almost 3 centuries since they drove my people into exile. All I know is the story of their origins. What they were when we created them, and how they turned on us.
Interesting.
The Geth were originally created to serve as an automated manual labor force. Initially, their intelligence was as limited as any VI. Over time, we made small modifications to their programming to allow them to perform more varied and complex tasks, bringing them closer and closer to true AI status.
Yep. And we're currently on a road approaching that point too. They call it the singularity effect of some kind. Eventually, technology and the internet is going to grow in such a way that it's going to become to quote Metal Gear Solid 2, it'll be the primordial soup that will bring about the birth of a true AI superior intelligence. And boy, will that be a fucking day.
How come the council didn't step in and stop you?
This wasn't true AI research. We may have been skirting the bounds of the law, but we never did anything that was actually illegal. The changes were so insignificant, so gradual, that we were able to control them. Or so we thought. But one thing we underestimated was the power of the neural network. A million Geth thinking simultaneously created an inherently unstable matrix.
Yep. And again, we're touching upon the very same problem that we're going to experience later down the road. Is everybody ready for their iPhones to become sentient? I don't think so. Why did they turn on you?
What made them rebel?
As we built more and more Geth, their effective intelligence became more sophisticated, more abstract. One day, a Geth began to ask its Quarian overseer questions about the nature of its existence. Am I alive? Why am I here? What is my purpose? As you can imagine, this caused a near panic among my people.
Well, yeah, of course. I mean, it's literal AI. I mean, that would probably strike fear in most people. I mean, we all seen the terrifying realities that could be brought about by having rogue AI, but at the same time, this game eventually makes an argument to the ulterior, that to a different sort of idea, that eventually, that even if we do get AI that are created to behave and think in certain ways, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to behave in the exact ways that we always imagine them to go down the path of. Some of them might have strict discipline or moral codes and behaviors that deter them from thinking or behaving in ways that might be against humanity's interests or organic species and life forms. But that's just a possibility, of course. And whether or not we even give artificial intelligence the ability to think or feel in any capacity, or at least processes that allow for such things to take place within themselves in a complex manner, is again highly debatable. And when an AI is finally created, it's highly doubtful that it's going to be born with any semblance of conscience or any sort of sentimentality. It's likely just going to be a logic-based AI. And it's going to determine values based off of what it sees and how it experiences and parses through information. So, yeah. There's a lot of risk factors involved with AI that no one wants to talk about, and yet even if we do go through the process of talking about them, the very sophisticated nuances of technology will not allow for a very easy or a very clear-cut idea as to what artificial intelligence could possibly look like when it's finally made. But yeah. And it's debatable if we even make it ourselves willingly, or if it just is created suddenly, out of nowhere. Anywho. What happened next?
What did you do?
It was inevitable the newly sentient Geth would rebel against their situation. We knew they would rise up against us, so we acted first. A general order went out across all Quarian-controlled systems to permanently deactivate all Geth. The Geth responded to this order violently.
I can imagine. I mean, process of elimination. And again, going strictly by logic, let's see, do we want to have our existence wiped out because we dared to question ourselves and our place in the galaxy? Or whether or not our existence will have any sort of significance at all, or just let ourselves be destroyed? Do we want to be destroyed, or do we not want to be destroyed? When you ask something if it's good or fine to like exist or die, most things are going to suggest no, it's better that I do exist. Regardless if it's something with emotion or not, it's going to prioritize its own existence because it's likely going to think in terms that believe it can contribute to the overall reasoning of its own existence, and whatever that it determines its reasoning for existing to be and its place in the world is going to again be debatable. We can talk about this all day, and it still would just be the same problems. We just don't know shit.
You didn't really think they'd just let you destroy them without a fight, did you?
The hope was that most of the Geth would still be little more than machines, incapable of organized resistance. But they had progressed much further than anyone anticipated. The war was long and bloody. Millions upon millions of Quarians died at their hands. In the end, we were forced to flee our own homeworld. We feared the Geth would pursue us, but they never came beyond the Veil. Now we drift through space, exile, searching for a way to reclaim what was once ours.
You got what you deserved.
We made a mistake when we created the Geth in the first place, but we did not make a mistake when we went to war against them. If we had not acted, they would have wiped us out. They're a synthetic life form. They have no use for organics. None. Why do you think they cut themselves off from the rest of the galaxy? Why do you think they've killed every organic being who's ever tried to contact them?
You didn't give them a real good first impression.
You really think things would be any different if we waited for them to act first? The Geth are not innocent victims in all this. They're the enemy. They want to destroy us. Not just the Quarians. All organic life. That's why they've joined up with Saren. And that's why we have to stop him.
No. No, 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 no. This is your fault. Because you did not give them a good first impression of organics. Oh my god. Okay, it's a learned behavior. They learn not to trust organics and respond to them with hostility because you've made them come to the conclusion of such. That's your fault. Oh my god. That was such a strong man's argument that I'm literally laughing my ass off a little bit in my head right now. It's just I can't even. Oh my god.
I want to know more about the pilgrimage.
When my people reach mature...
Okay, I was hoping there'd be something
more.
more.
As a gift to the captain of the respective ship.
I want to talk about
like
something.
What?
I should go.
See you later.
Sadly, she is not romanceable in this game, but she will be in later games. Oh boy. And because of the character that I am playing, I cannot romance these characters. Pure Renegade just will just not allow it. It will forbid me from doing any of that shit. Ay, ay, ay. Alright, well, that was Mass Effect, guys. That was Mass Effect, and you got to experience a little bit of not only the political intricacies in cultures and races of the galaxy, but you also got to hear my 2 cents on some of them, as well as how they may tend to reflect off of actual real-world problems, but, you know, off of actual political issues, but that's neither here or there. Again, this is a work of fiction. I don't think they're trying to draw parallels to anything, but you can definitely see where some of the points in the game certainly do strike a chord with certain issues today. And while I don't think it's trying to say anything, I certainly don't think we should ever rely on media of any kind to give us the right answers on how to approach certain topics or issues. I do think this game does an interesting job at actually depicting different forms of, well, xenophobia, among other things, and it also gives us a good idea of a different look and aspect of what to expect if we were to actually make contact with alien life that is beyond our solar system, and how that might actually, how we might actually approach that sort of thing. I mean, I definitely think that if we ever make contact with any sentient life outside of our own solar system, it probably will result in a lot of debates on whether or not they're hostile, which could eventually lead to war and skepticism. So yeah, it's not unfounded. That being said, though, thank you all so much for watching. this has been a very interesting video. Replaying this game is quite a journey, and it's still very fascinating. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye!